Welcome back to the Twits. In the last chapter, we had the Twits return from their gun buying expedition, and the ravens swooped over and painted the top of their heads with sticky glue. Now, the Twits, being not very intelligent, feel like the birds have pooped on their hair, and they're going inside to their home to see if they can wash it out, and then they're going to load their guns and shoot all the birds off the roof, they think. But let's see what's going to actually happen. We will start by reviewing the pictures and the title of the chapter so that we have a good idea about what's going to happen in it. And then we will review the vocabulary. There's only 2 words, and we've already had at least one of them. So here we go. This chapter is called The Twits Are Turned Upside Down, which sounds like the monkeys and the birds have gotten away with what they were trying to do. Turn the twits upside down. So, and then we see they gave us a beautiful little picture of how the house looks. And we see our 2 little frumptious freaks. Oh no. We see our 2 little frumptious freaks down here at the bottom, and we see that the monkeys and the birds have successfully turned all the stuff upside down, and it looks just like their living room upside down. Now, I marvel to think about what my living room would look upside down and on the ceiling. There's also a big ceiling fan in the way, so I think that they'd have to do some home repairs first, and that'd be hilarious. But off subject. Okay, let's look at the rest of the pictures. We see them. Oh, there they are. They're goggling, staring at the ceiling for some reason. Who knows why? We'll find out in a second. We see that there's pictures upside down behind them, though. Let's keep looking. And though, oh, no. Here they are. They appear to be standing on their heads. Look at the picture. Make your decisions about what you think is going to happen. And that's the end of that chapter. Or that's the end of those. That's the end of the pictures for that chapter. So let's go over quickly the vocabulary. Now, giddy. Giddy, we have already discussed, means dizzy, or it's a British word for kind of dizzy. I've always thought of giddy as like really happy, but that is not what it sounds like in context in this chapter, so I'm pretty sure it means dizzy. Okay, extraordinary. Extra is a root of a word, which means it's like you can build words around the word extra, and it always means more than there was or something unusual. And so this word is extraordinary. So it's not just ordinary, it's extraordinary. It means it's unusual. It's out of the ordinary. It's something new and different. Okay, so those are all of the words that we needed to go over before we begin reading. Now there's our picture again, and I will start reading. The twits are turned upside down. What's this? Gasped Mr. Twit as they entered the living room. What's happened? Screamed Mrs. Twit. They stood up in the middle of the room, looking up. All the furniture, the big table, the chairs, the sofa, the lamps, the little side tables, the cabinet with bottles of beer in it, the ornaments, the electric heater, the carpet, everything was stuck upside down on the ceiling. The pictures were upside down on the walls, and the floor they were standing on it was absolutely bare. What's more, it had been painted white to look like the ceiling. So then we come to that picture where they look very confused, and they're looking at the ceiling, trying to figure out what's going on. Look! Screamed Mrs. Twit. That's the floor! The floor's up there! This is the ceiling! What are we? We're standing on the ceiling! We're upside down! Gasped Mr. Twit. We must be upside down! We're standing on the ceiling looking down at the floor! Oh, help! Screamed Mrs. Twit. Help! 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 I'm beginning to feel giddy. So am I. So am I, cried Mr. Twit. I don't like this one little bit. We're upside down and all the blood's going to my head, screamed Mrs. Twit. If we don't do something quickly, I shall die. I know I will. I've got it, cried Mr. Twit. I know what we'll do. We'll stand on our heads. Then anyway, will be the right way up. And they stood on their heads. And of course, the moment the tops of their heads touched the floor, the sticky glue that the ravens had brushed on a few moments before did its job. They were stuck. They were pinned down, cemented, glued, fixed to the floorboards. Through a crack in the door, the monkeys watched. They jumped right out of their cages the moment the twits had gone inside, and the roly-poly bird watched. and all the other birds flew in and out to catch a glimpse of this extraordinary sight. And so that ends the chapter with Mr. and Mrs. Twits stuck to the floorboard, heads down, and all the animals are coming to watch and look at this really cool sight. So we will continue with the next chapter momentarily.